you know caffeine helps headaches? At least it does with me.
Oh, really?
Hi, good morning. Hello, my friends, my second grade students. I am so happy to be with you today. Right now, we're in Atrium 1. I thought it would be nice to switch the atrium up a little bit for you. Today, we're going to talk about something very beautiful and very special. This is to prepare you for your first reconciliation and your first communion. Okay? So, the lesson we're going to start today is called The True Vine. And guess what, boys and girls? This is my first time doing this lesson. So I said a little prayer to the Good Shepherd, and I'm going to do my very best. Okay? Are you ready? Okay, listen up. Get all cozy. Okay. We are preparing for your first reconciliation and first communion. I wonder how important it is to prepare for this. Is it only important to prepare for the first time you receive Jesus? Or should everyone prepare, even if they have received many times? Well, boys and girls, I can tell you for me, I remember my first reconciliation and I remember my first communion. And I prepared with help of my parents. And back then I had Sister Anna Marie who helped me. Now today I'm all grown up and I still prepare before I go to have my reconciliation. I prepare before I go to confession. And so that's what this is all about, is helping you prepare for yours. Let's think of some ways we have come to know and speak to Jesus. Okay, let's see. Prince of Peace. Jesus is the Good Shepherd. Jesus is the Holy One. All kinds of names. And if you think of it sometime, you can write down some names for Jesus that you like. You can make them up even. Beautiful names for Jesus. And you could put them on your prayer table or in your prayer box if you want. There are words like the light of the world, the Son of God, all kinds of names. So think about that. Well, we remember that Jesus said he was the Good Shepherd. In the reading we will hear today, he says he is the true vine. Many times we describe things and people by how they look, size, color of hair, or eyes. Like, for example, I have brown eyes. And my friend Ariana here has brown eyes too. You know what? I don't know. I know some of you have brown eyes, some of you have blue eyes. We're all different. Good and true describes something in a different way. It describes better what kind of shepherd, what kind of vine could we use? What is another word for good shepherd? Best shepherd, number one shepherd, perfect shepherd. Oh, there's so many. How about true vine, the true vine, the one and only vine, the best vine, the biggest vine. Oh, there's so many words. Before we listen to Jesus' words in Scripture, let's look at a couple of plants, okay? So here we go in Atrium 1. We have this beautiful plant. If I place it here, Ariana, can they see? Okay, here's one plant. Let me go get another. Thank you. I'm back. What differences can you see in these plants? Let's take a good look. This one has tall stems and branches. This one, shorter This one has a tall fern with a little ivy down here. This one has spiky parts with a little plant here growing, okay? So they're a little different. But I don't know if you see this, but this plant has some parts to it that we may need to look at. Let's see. Now but before we do that, let's talk about what plants need to grow. And I know you know what plants need to grow. Water, food, and sun. What is it that gets the water and food to the whole plant? Food goes through the roots to the soil to the plant. So the plant gets all of its food from its source. I have a word for you. I don't know if you've heard. See if you can listen for it. Do you know what it means to prune a plant? Prune. Isn't that a silly word? What does it mean to prune a plant? It means to cut back the little stems that take the sap away from the plant, so the plant will be stronger. So let's prune this plant, okay? I'm going to go get my scissors. I'll be right back. If you have a plant at home and your parents say it's okay, you might want to prune as well. So I have my plant here, and do you see? I can take this out, right? That doesn't need to be there. So I'm pruning my plant. I'm taking out all the parts that need to be removed so it can grow stronger. Oh, this is so much fun. I think this plant likes all the attention. I think it's going to be healthier and healthier. There, I took out all the parts that need to be pruned. Let's try this one. Oh, look, yes. Oh, there's one. That came off. There. Oh. Okay. So now we see I pruned the plants and I have taken away these parts. I'm going to place it right over here for now. Let's think about one more thing. What does it mean to remain with someone? Stay with you? Mm-hmm. Where do you have to be? Where do you have to be first of all to remain? Are you apart from them or are you already with them? Let's listen very closely to what Jesus says. There are more important words that you'll hear over and over. Okay? All right. Wait to light my candle. I am going to read from John 15, 1 through 9. And you'll be happy to know that Mrs. Kelleher forgot her glasses, so I'm going to read this very carefully. I know I can do it. Here we go. Chapter 15. The vine and the branches. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He takes away every branch in me that does not bear fruit. That wouldn't bear fruit. And everyone that does he prunes, so that if it bears more fruit, you are already pruned. And because of the word that I spoke to you, remain in me as I remain in you. Just as a branch cannot bear fruit on its own unless it remains on the vine, so neither can you unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Isn't that beautiful? Amen. The word of the Lord. I love that. Okay, let's continue our little journey. Which words did you hear more than once in our reading from the Bible? I heard love a couple of times. I definitely heard fruit a couple of times. Remain was another word I heard a couple of times. I wonder why Jesus used those words a lot. When Jesus says, remain in me, where would you have to already be to be able to remain? Would you stay away from Jesus, or we are already close to Christ? I wonder why, out of all the kinds of plants there are, Jesus chose a vine. What does Jesus want us to understand about the vine? Isn't this beautiful, boys and girls? This is in your atrium, so when you come, when we open up, you can come see it. Isn't it beautiful? What does Jesus want us to know about this vine? Let's find out. You know what? I have a feeling at home some of you already know. I can hear it right now. Jesus says he is the true vine. How many different kinds of vines do we know about? Well, let's talk about right now. It's October, it's almost Halloween, and there is this big, orange, round pumpkin that grows. And that has a vine. Did you know that? Melons, grapes, all those things. Remember what we said about the differences between the tree and the vine? What would the vine be without leaves and branches? What if we took all the leaves away and the branches? What is Jesus trying to say about us and him? Well, it looks like the leaves and the branches are all connected, aren't they? They're all connected to the vine. In a vineyard, there is a point where the vine gets thicker and grows into the ground. It is called the root stem, and that is the strongest part of the vine, the root. But it's difficult to figure out where the vine ends and where the branches start. Jesus says, I am the vine and you are the branches. Jesus says, I am the vine and you are the branches. Think about that. If Jesus is the vine, is that the whole plant? Where does he stop and we start? Looks like it's all connected. See? We are part of him, and he is part of us. Well, let's think about what kind of plant bears fruit. And I know you love fruit. I love fruit. I love apples. Oh, I love apples. Well, we have grapes and strawberries and melons. They all grow on a vine. I wonder what Jesus meant when he said for us to bear fruit. Do you think he meant things like grapes or berries? Does he want us to grow grapes and berries? No. What kind of fruit can we bear? Well, remember when we talked about the maxims and we talked about the different sayings of Jesus? Like, there's so many of them. You remember the maxims. Can the maxim help us to bear fruit? Let's remember the parable of the Good Shepherd. The sheep can get lost or separated from the Good Shepherd and then come back. But what happens with the vine? Branches are connected. They are part of the vine. Jesus talks about the wine dresser. The vine dresser. Who is the vine dresser? Jesus says, "My Father is the vine dresser, God the Father." What does a vine dresser do? A vine dresser, this is very interesting. A vine dresser takes care of the whole plant. He takes care of the whole plant. He takes care of the whole plant. Waters, feeds, and prunes and supports the weaker branches, helping them to get strong. That's what a vine dresser does. What happens to a plant that is not pruned? It can grow out of control and get really thin and then maybe not bear fruit. Can the maxims be a way of helping us to be pruned? Oh, I love that. Can the maxim help us? Yes. What did Jesus say? You are already pruned by means of the word. I have spoken to you. Are the maxim Jesus' words to us? Yes, and they can help us to be strong. Think of that word remain again. Why so many times? 10 times it said that. Did he use it over and over again? Because he couldn't think of another word to use? Or is he trying to tell us something about him and us? What is our part of this? What should we do? We should always remain with the Good Shepherd. What happens if we don't remain on the vine? What happens if we don't remain on the vine and one fell off? What happens? Will it wither and die? Why? Why would it? If the vine represents Jesus and the branches represent us, does it mean just those of us in the atrium? Or does this mean it for everybody in the whole world? Everybody. So we want to stay connected. We want to be a part of. Boys and girls, I know this was a very talkative presentation, but it's important that we think about the true vine and how we are with Jesus. And before I end, I just want to say how proud I am of all of you. I am so excited about your first reconciliation, your first confession. Next time I see you, we're going to have fun. I am going to be in a little play, and the play is called Mrs. Kelleher Goes to Confession. And I'm going to act out having confession. Would you like to see that next week? Okay. All right. God bless you. I love you all. Peace be with you.